just got back to the house. Had to go pick up some kerosene. It's fixing to get cold in Georgia. All right, so let's get in the shop. What is this gonna be? This gonna be round 2.
Round 2, fight!
We got the parts in. They don't really fit right either. So you have to do like I did on the other pieces. And what you can do is you can file this down and it'll make it go in there. But the holes are right, so the bolt will go through it and the Heim's joint lines up. I got it in there far enough to check the alignment, but it's still, you can't get them in there. So anywho, which I only need the one, I think. I don't know, I may end up taking this other one off because I noticed, let me see. I noticed this time when I put it in there, see how the Heim's joint's sitting? It ain't sitting flush. I don't like that. So anywho, let me get set up. I got a couple other things I'm wanting to check before I get started on that. All right, so what you didn't see is I just dropped a plunge bob on the back side of this tire, came down through here, and I measured distance from here to the back side of this flange. All right, so then after I got that measurement, came over here, I measured from this plunge bob to the back side of that flange. I have 1 more inch of clearance, or 1 more inch of clearance. I've got, yeah, 1 more inch of clearance, right? So if that measured 3 inches from the flange to the tire, I come over here, I got 4 inches from the flange to the string. So that means I've got 1 inch of clearance up in here. All right, your fender usually it rolls in a little bit right there. So even if it was a little bit off, I can massage that right there and get some more clearance up there at the top. All right, after I did that, I found a magical way of measuring the front side of this flange through this way and then went through the wheel. So when I shot the tape through the wheel to the edge of this tire, I had 9 inches of clearance. Or pretty close to 9 inches. So then measured from here to the string, I had 9 3/4 roughly, and the tire was 9 inches. So I got 3/4 of an inch clearance there. I checked both sides come up with the same thing. So we're good on that. So after looking at this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna file these down, and here's the others. You see the surface? See how much thinner that is than that. That one still got the lip. I gotta grind that lip off. Once I grind that lip off, it'll go in there, which is fine. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. As long as I ain't got a whole bunch of slop, I just ease them down little by little until they both fit in there, and it'll be okay. But it does look like the bolt holes, everything looks straight. Everything looks straight on that. So we'll see once I get the actual Heim's joint in there. All right, well, I got 2 of these little slip joints in, and it looks like the brackets are better. Yeah, they were too narrow, but they do fit correct. So I'm probably gonna swap that other one out. You can see how these fit in there flush. I had to file them down just as bad as I did the other ones. But anyway, I'm gonna get through filing the last 2 down and probably take that bracket off and then put these 2 new ones on there so they'll fit right. Okay, so I skipped the part of filming all of this, me getting all this figured out because it was kind of long and drawn out. So I'll just show what I did. So the truck itself is not sitting level. So I found level by taking this bar, putting it on the frame with my level, right? So So I found level with the truck. I put the bar that I used to put the ends on the rear end, I slid it through so that I can put the level on here. And keep in mind, I zeroed it out to the frame. So when I sit it in here, which is not going to zero out now, but it would be 0. The frame is 0. The rear end is zeroed to the frame. So that way, if my frame is sitting like this, if the actual truck is sitting like this, I want the rear end to sit like that, right? Which, kind of. I don't want the frame crooked, and then I weld these in, and I'm welding them in straight. So everything is at the same degree. So I put these plates, or I put these struts up here to kind of hold everything, and then I put a strut up here. Right, which that should be whatever this is reading right now. So I'm making sure that my arms are the same. The other thing I did is I wanted to make sure these upper control arms are the same length. So I measured that. I want them to be the same length, and I want them to be at the same height on the rear end. I don't want one to be off. I don't want one to be longer, because then the ratios will be different. I don't know if this is the right measurement because this is the bed, but I also measured from here to the bottom of the bolt, and I measured from here to the bottom of the bolt. That's 5 1/8. This is also 5 1/8. So it should work. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna tack these in place, and after I get those tacked in, I'm probably going to take that off and check the rear end and see how it feels. But the rear end should be, it should be stable. It shouldn't move. Everything should be good. That's it. It got hot. Come on. Don't twist.
Yep.
Big old tacks. Lots of big old tacks.
Unpause.
All right, so we got it tacked in. So it doesn't move. It may look like it's moving, but it's not. The noise you're hearing is the old cow tracks. That's what you're hearing. The upper bars don't make any noise. So I'm probably gonna replace the heim joints in these and get rid of that plate. I said it was gonna get cold. It done got cold. Looks pretty cool. Before we can get the day started on the truck, I gotta take that motor back there, back to LKQ. That's my core. It's the motor we put in my kid's car. So I get that back, we'll get started on the truck. We dropped the motor off at LKQ, and I thought we were done, but I had one more place to go. We're gonna go by Summit because I gotta return them parts.
Just out of reach, a whisper, spark, a silent speech. There's something here we can't deny, but the words hang heavy, afraid to fly. And I wonder if...
All right, so we just got back from Summit. See, we got some Heims joints and got some chrome moly tubing. So we picked up the Heims joints. You got 2 left hand and 2 right hand thread. The reason you do that, if you had 2 right hand threads and you roll the bar, it wouldn't pull nothing together or push nothing apart. This tube would just slide up and down the Heims joints. It wouldn't pull anything. So anyway, we're going to take this. We're going to take some measurements and see about how long this bar needs to be. I'm going to start doing some mock-ups, and we'll get back after I do the mock-ups. Cool. Basically, the measurements I'm taking right here, I'm going to find the shortest and the longest distance. Because I want the bar to be able to shorten up to the shortest and to lengthen to the longest. So we got 25 inches here. I got 25 and 7/8 up there. I got 26 and 1/4 here. So that's actually the longest there. Yep. 26 and 1/4 is going to be the longest. Right? Yep. 6 and 1/4. So that's what I got to have. So I went back and remeasured, and it was a little bit more precise with the measurement. And it's the shortest distance is 25. The longest distance is 26 and 1/8. So when you're setting this up, well, the way I'm going to do it, all right, I put my Heims joints halfway. If you got a 1/2 inch on this Heims joint showing and a 1/2 inch of thread on that Heims joint, you got 1 inch of movement right there. Then you've also got the movement that's inside of here, which is the same, 1/2 and 1/2, you got another inch, right? So I'm going to go halfway of what I measured, halfway between 25, 26 and 1/8. That's where I'm going to set the pipe to be cut. Well, when I say pipe to be cut, that's where I'm setting my 2 Heims joints, right? So this Heims joint is going to be halfway of 25 and 26 and 1/8. That Heims joint is going to start at the halfway point, right? The tape measure right here is at the it's at the in-between in the hole. So you can see right here I'm halfway. So I'm going to mark my tube to be cut right here, which is actually like 22 and 1/2, I guess. So that's where I'm going to cut my tube, put the Heims joints in, and that should be the center point of all the numbers. All right, see how I bevel the edge back? That way we can get a deeper penetration on that. Also, what we're going to do is we're going to drill a hole right here, not through this piece, but through here, and that'll let me get a, I can't remember what you call it, but it's like a rosette. I think it's called a rosette weld. So, there you go. All right, so I got the rod ends. We got the hole in there. Hole on this side. Did that on all of them. I'm gonna clean this table off, and I'm gonna try to set it up so the camera's looking through one of these welding helmets over here. So hopefully I can do that, and you can watch me TIG weld. Good enough. All right, we got the arms welded up, got them in, everything looks good. I'm fixing to be pulling these uppers out. I'm gonna get those welded up. So I ain't gonna put me welding the uppers up in the video. There's really no point in watching it. It's really the same thing you've already seen, different arm. I got the axles ordered for the rear end, so hopefully they'll be here in about a week. My measurements all come out right, but I really want to wait on the axles to get here before I weld this rear end and do a mock-up with the wheels and everything, brakes on it, put it up in there, make sure nothing's hitting, because if I have to make an adjustment, I want to make it before we weld it. We're going to tackle some other things that'll be in another video, but as far as the rear end goes, that's going to be it for today. Appreciate y'all watching.